Welcome aboard, applicants. I thought we would begin with the first year law students exam, June 2009, essay question number 2. As with all essay questions, let's begin with the call of the question. Is Press likely to prevail in an action against Delta for breach of contract? And if so, what is likely measure of damages discussed? Well, right here, they're giving us the area of law. Breach of contract, contract law. All right, we got a head start on this. So Press v. Delta, and we already know it's going to be breach of contract, so we throw it and therefore we have the area of law, contract law. So let's throw down our contract law shopping list. Contract formation, third party rights, covenants, conditions, excuses. Covenants, conditions, covenants, excuses, discharge duty to perform, breach of contract, and remedies. Okay, now let's put this to our second page here so we can all see it. All right, now let's read our question to get a bird's eye perspective of movie mode. Okay, Delta Print Company, Delta ordered 3 identical model 100 printing presses from press manufacturer company Press. Delta's written order form described the items ordered by model number. Delta agreed to pay Press $25,000 for each Model 100 press. A few days later, Press sent Delta its own form confirming the order. Press's form repeated all of the items on Delta's form, but added. I want to add this on there. Okay, the clause Delta must make any complaints concerning defects in or conformity of the goods delivered within a reasonable period after delivery. 1 week later, Press delivered the Model 100 printing presses to Delta's place of business. Delta immediately removed its old printing presses and placed two of the new presses into operation. Delta stored the third new press in its original unopened carton. 1 week after delivery, Delta's vice president for operations, Vanessa, notified Press's sales manager, Sally, that it wanted to return the third press. Sally asked why it wanted to return the press, and Vanessa responded, Delta doesn't need a third press at this time. Sally replied that all sales were final and that Delta was obligated to pay for all 3 presses. Vanessa said that Delta did not want the third press and expected Press to pick it up immediately. Sally responded that she would have a truck pick up the third press the next day, but that Delta was expected to pay for all 3 presses. The next day, Press picked up the third press. Press sold the third press to Offset Printing Co. Offset a week later for $22,000, a discount off the contract price of $25,000. It cost Press $18,000 to build the Model 100 press. Offset is one of the largest printing companies in State X and regularly purchases multiple Model 100 printing presses from Press. Press maintains a large inventory of the Model 100 printing press because of its popularity. Delta has not yet paid for any of the 3 Model 100 presses despite repeated demands by Press. Okay, right now we need to establish under contract formation our applicable law. Okay, well, we already know, I believe we would say that it was Uniform Commercial Code because we're dealing with a good, and that good is the press. Okay, now concerning merchant status of the parties. Okay, do we have both parties being merchants? Well, up here it says that ordered 3 identical presses. Press is a press manufacturer, so we know that at least Press is someone who regularly deals with our special skill or knowledge related to presses, and it's conceivable that Delta, being a printing company, that it would also be a merchant. So both parties being merchants concerning presses. Okay, and then contract formation. Remember, a validly formed contract contains legally enforceable offer acceptance consideration without applicable defense to contract formation. Offer was their intent to be bound. Certain and definite terms. We also have communication to offeree. Okay, so let's ask ourselves here: was there an intent to be bound? Let's take a look at okay, Delta ordered 3 identical presses from press company. Okay, ordered would be an indication of intent to be bound. What are the terms? Well, 3 would be quantity. Subject matter would be Model X, Model 100, I should say, printing presses. The parties, Delta Print Co. and or Delta and Press, excuse me. And then we have time for performance. It's assumed that within a reasonable time, was there a valid contract? That's exactly right. See down here, uh, that's exactly what we're establishing right now. And so, working through that, what was the price? Well, the price was $25,000 for each model 100 press. So we got all. It seems to be that we have all the necessary terms to form this contract. So yes, we have an offer. Was there an acceptance? Absolutely, there was an acceptance. Right here. Okay, mutual assent. Very good. Very good. Right here. Now, right here, we have Delta agreed to pay 25,000 for each model 100 presses. Okay, so now at this point we have the acceptance. Was there a consideration? Remember though, we could have. Remember though, under acceptance, we're not quite done yet. We want to make sure to not forget about consideration and the statute of frauds. Possible argument: sale of goods over $500. Okay, so up here though, what happened? A few days later, Press sent Delta its own form confirming the order. What is this? Absolutely correct. If you spotted this, this is UCC 2-207 Battle of the Forms. Classic Battle of the Forms. Okay. Oh, right. Merchants Confirmatory Memorandum. Very good as well. Excellent job on that one. Okay. But under the Battle of Forms, there's an added term. I want to point this out too, that we have additional term. See, it's not the changing of a term that was already in the original contract. It's an addition of a term. What is that? It's the clause that Delta must make any complaints concerning defects in or nonconformity of the goods delivered within a reasonable time period after delivery. So it's basically the aspect concerning complaining about defects. Okay, and yeah, complaints concerning defects. So let's point this out just like that. So we got to ask ourselves here: between merchants, this would generally become part of the agreement. However, number one, does the offer expressly excludes additional terms coming in? Doesn't necessarily say that. So no, that's step one does not apply. Number two, would this materially alter the agreement? Well, one argument can be made yes, because this would technically alter the method at which remedies could be calculated. It's possible. The other argument could be no, it doesn't materially alter it, because all it's doing is adding a alternative dispute resolution clause. But then you ask yourself, was there an what did the other party object to this term within a reasonable period of time? Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. We don't see that here. We only see that 1 week after delivery, right here. So we know that at least in terms of our acceptance, we have a delivery. So we can find shipment as being a way of being acceptance. There was a notification that there was the return of the third press. So this is where this would click in. So if it became part of the agreement, this would actually be activated at this point down here underneath our second paragraph. So keep that in mind. Now underneath consideration, we talk about the bargain for exchange, a legal detriment benefit flowing between the offeror and the offeree. Valid consideration: money for presses and presses for money. Sounds sufficient to me. Statute of frauds: sale of goods over $500 or more. We have a $25,000 per press times 3, so $75,000 contract. It seems that there has to be a writing and a signature of the party to be charged. If there's not one, like was pointed out, the signature of the party to be charged here would be the signature of Delta. If there's not a signature by Delta, which up here, remember, did Delta, the Delta's form might supply that signature, okay? But if that's not, then we could find it under the merchant's confirmatory memorandum exception, which does was it signed by a merchant? Yes, because of the letterhead, supposed letterhead. Number two, did it contain all necessary terms? Yeah, conceivably yes, because it did say that it had all the original terms. See right here, it repeated all the terms of the Delta's form. I should say, excuse me, Press sent Delta its own form. So Press is sending back this, but the Delta form could have included the signature as well. Now the signature though that we're talking about here, if indeed Delta did not supply its signature, the signature of a merchant down here, Press being our merchant, sorry about the party confusion there, the that would suffice because we would obviously Press is a merchant. Number two, we have talked about this, that contain all the necessary terms, or three, excuse me, it contained all necessary terms, and then number four, it was not objected to by the other party within a reasonable period of time, and that would allow our merchant's confirmatory memorandum to kick in. Okay, now, and it could save what would otherwise be an unenforceable contract being barred, the enforcement being barred by the statute of frauds. Okay, now with that being said, do we have any third party rights? It doesn't look like we do. The other thing is we're looking at is, do we have any covenants, conditions, excuses? Let's come up here and take a look here. Let's read the second paragraph. 1 week later, Press delivered the 100 models, Model 100 printing presses to Delta's place of business. That's a furtherance of the aspect about acceptance up here. So shipment. Okay. Now up here, Delta immediately removed its old printing presses and placed two new presses into operation. So we're looking here. There could be an argument right there. I just want to make sure to note this down here under remedies of reliance. It's possible, the aspect, but we're not really sure. Just that was just an idea that popped up in my mind. So Delta immediately removed its old printing presses and placed two of the new presses into operation. Now Delta stored the third new press in its original unopened carton. Okay, so now 1 week after delivery, Delta's vice president for operations, Vanessa, notified Press's sales manager. Now remember, who's suing who here? Press is suing Delta. Okay, so you have Delta. So Press is the one that's suing Delta. So Delta's vice president for operations, Vanessa, notified Press's sales manager, Sally, that it wanted to return the third press. Okay, Sally asked why it wanted to return the press, and Vanessa responded, Delta doesn't need a third press at this time. Sally replied that all sales were final. Now, this aspect about all sales being final, well, this could be considered. I'm trying to think here as to what this might be at the time. Is this I'm gonna have to hold off on that determination quite yet, and that Delta was obligated to pay for all three presses. Okay, now Vanessa said that Delta did not want the third press and expected Press to pick it up immediately. Now, Sally responded that she would have a truck pick up the third press the next day, but that Delta was expected to pay for all three presses. At this point, I want to make a note that we're dealing possibly with a divisible contract. We got three identical presses. And therefore, the argument could be made that the contract could still go through on the two presses that were actually put into service, and the one that was still kept in the carton could be returned. So the contract price minus that one returned press would be technically the recovery. Okay, now the other one is for possible excuses here. Okay. We don't have substantial performance. Okay, let's see here, because we're dealing with a good here. Let's see. Now, okay. Sally responded that she did not have a truck to pick up the press the next day, but that Delta was expected to pay for all three presses. Okay, so they're saying that that Delta here is saying that this is a rather interesting party versus party orientation here. Now, what we're asked, I guess, in the call now that I'm kind of getting a better picture of this is, can press argue that they should be entitled to be able to return the third press? And that's what we're arguing right now. So up here, or down here, we want to make sure to put in condition precedent that once the delivery of the press has occurred, that the money should have been tendered upon delivery. I don't see anything else. Nope, I don't see that. Well, this is the other aspect too about this, is that what is Delta essentially saying at this point when they're saying that all sales are final? Are they saying that they're anticipatorily repudiating? This is what I'm saying right here. But here's the thing, that would not be anticipatory because there's been 2 of the 3 performances already. So in other words, I would just call this repudiation, and this would be by Delta. I wanted to ask, do you see repudiation by Delta there up here underneath the paragraph that says all sales are final, and that Delta was next day, but that Delta was expected to pay for all 3 presses? Do you see this as a repudiation by Delta? Okay, I'll give you a bit to think about that. Now, the next thing about this is, what about breach of contract? Was there any arguments though up here as to like possible impossibility, impracticability, frustration of purpose as reasons for not performing? Let's see. Oh, possibly. Yeah, you could argue possible frustration of purpose for that they didn't need it. Okay, I would throw that one in. Probably before repudiation, I'll just throw in. Okay, frustration of purpose, repudiation by Delta, breach of contract. Remember we don't have a one delivery, so we have to look at the aspect concerning an installment contract. But remember here, was it one delivery of three presses though? Let's take a look here. Let's see. 1 week later, delivered the okay, printed. Okay, so it is perfect tender rule because look at here, it's three presses being delivered at the same time. Okay. Okay. So it could be perfect tender rule to establish whether or not it's material versus minor breach. And then under remedies, right here, throwing in mitigation of damages. And did this actually take place? Let's take, and then I'm going to throw an expectation real quick here. Okay, and then after expectation, we want to do consequential damages. This is the Hadley v. Baxendale argument, and then incidental damages. And then we also want to aspect concerning I'm trying to argue about the under expectation. Oh, the mitigation might be trying to return the one press back. I'm not quite sure on that one. Expectation damages would be the full contract price minus the one press. So that could and then we want to make sure to put this in there that now Delta has not paid for any of the 3 presses. Now remember, the next day, Press picked up the 3rd press. Press sold the 3rd press. To offset printing. Oh, wait a minute. Consequential is not available to sellers. Glad I read that. We have lost volume seller here. Okay. And then so they sold the 3rd press to offset, so that would be 22,000 minus the 25. So that would be a loss, possible recovery of 3,000 there. It cost Press 18,000 to rebuild the press. Okay, so you could argue possible reliance there. I'd have to throw that one in. Wow. Question mark on that one. Okay, and then Offset is one of the largest printing presses in state X and regularly purchases multiple. Okay, from Press. Press maintains a large. This is the large inventory aspect, but the lost volume. Delta has not paid for any of the 3. So, yeah, despite repeated demands by Press. Okay, so looks to me like we pretty much have it here. We've got mitigation, damage, expectation, lost volume, seller, reliance, incidentals, and the aspect too is. I'm not really sure as to can they require under a specific performance. See, I don't see that. I'm just going to throw in a small argument there. So just question mark on that one, and then throw in a conclusion. Okay. Okay, and then that pretty much deals with the Press v Delta argument up here for our June 2019 question 2. Now we're going to shift gears and go into the general bar exam, February 2009. Let's take this to the next page here. Okay, as with all essay questions, let's begin with the call of the question. What arguments can developer make and what is the likely outcome on each of the following points? 1. Developer did not breach the contract with builder. 2. Developer's performance was excused. And 3. In any event, builder did not suffer the $700,000 in damages discussed. Okay, so let's talk here now. We know right now there's a breach of contract action, so we know what area of law we're dealing with here. Contract law. So let's put down our shopping list here. Contract formation, third-party rights, covenants, conditions, excuses, discharge of duty to perform, breach of contract, and remedies. Okay. Now let's begin our question reading here. Developer had an option to purchase a 5-acre parcel named the Highlands in city from owner. Was planning to build a residential development there. Developer could not proceed with the project until city approved the extension of utilities to the Highlands parcel. In order to encourage development, city had a well-known and long-standing policy of reimbursing developers for the cost of installing utilities in new areas. Developer signed a contract with builder. Oh, there it is. Signed a contract with builder for the construction of 10 single-family homes. Excellent that we read this here. So we know our area of law right now is going to be for services. Applicable law, common law, services. Okay. And remember too that we have contract formation, and what is the words that they use? Signed a contract. So we got, okay. With that, we want to make sure to talk about our mutual assent, consideration, and whether or not a small argument for statute of frauds, even though it is because of it being a signed contract, it'd be satisfied, but a small discussion possibly. A little asterisk at the beginning there. Okay. Now, up here, so developer signed a contract with builder for the construction of 10 single-family homes on the Highlands parcel. The contract provided in Section 14D that all obligations under this agreement are conditioned on. Ooh, condition on. Sounds to me like we have a condition precedent here. Let's throw that down there right now. Okay. Now, on approval by city of all necessary utilities extensions, during pre-contract negotiations, developers specifically, this definitely smacks of parole evidence rule here. I want to make sure to put that in. Okay. Okay. Okay, right here. All obligations of this contract agreement are conditioned on the approval by city of all necessary utility extension. During pre-contract negotiations, developer specifically informed builder that he could not proceed with the project unless city followed its usual policy of reimbursing the developer for its installation of utilities, and builder acknowledged that he understood such a condition to be implicit in section 14D. Now, the contract also provided this written contract is a complete and final statement of the agreement between the parties here too. There it is. There is, and there is that would be the basically you have the four corners rule, and then you have the extension or the exception, excuse me, for establishing condition precedent. Okay. So far, so good. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Now, in a change of policy, city approved necessary utility extensions to the Highlands parcel, but only on the condition that developer bear the entire cost, which was substantial. Now, without reimbursement by city, because this additional cost made the project unprofitable. Okay, right here we have impossibility, impracticability, financial, and frustration of purpose. Okay. Developer abandoned plans for the development and did not exercise his option to purchase the Highlands parcel from owner. Builder claiming breach of contract sued developer. So we have builder v. developer. Okay. Okay, sue developer for the $700,000 profit he would have made on the project. Okay, that sounds to me like a remedies situation here. So we have, now do we have a repudiation here of some kind? Up here, let's take a look. Oh, wait a minute. Do we have, I thought I read abandoned here. Cambridge Project, okay. Developer, abandoned plans for the development. And then exercise his option right here. So there, that looks to me like a clear anticipatory repudiation. And then coming down, we got breach of contract. Remember, we have common law, we got substantial performance. And then for remedies, we want to make sure to throw in mitigation of damages. Expectation. Remember here though, expectation has to be certain, it has to be foreseeable, and the aspect about it being unavoidable cost or loss that is taken up in the mitigation of damages, and caused. Okay, so certain, foreseeable, and caused. We have to keep that in mind. Okay, we've already taken these up here. We're in remedies right now, so good. Okay, now coming up now, is there anything else? This would be the $700,000 profit he would have made on the project. Would have made looks like we talked about the certainty factor, certainty of the $700,000 profit. Okay, that's probably what this argument's going to center on here for expectation. Okay, then now right here, in the meantime, architect purchased the Highlands parcel from owner and contracted with builder to construct business work there. Builder's expected profit under this new contract with architect is $500,000. So there looks to me like we have that would be the mitigation of damages. So we've got 500,000, so 700,000 minus the 500,000, and it looks to me like we have cost avoidance of 200,000. The cost avoidance was the 500,000, so we have a possible expected of 200,000, depending on whether or not the certainty of the 700,000 profit was considered certain and not too speculative. Now down here, builder expected profit under the contract with architect is 500,000. What arguments can builder make, and what is likely outcome on each of the following? So now builder did not breach the contract with. Excuse me. Let me phrase that again. Developer did not breach the contract with builder. That's what we got to ask ourselves here. Did they breach the contract? Well, it's arguable as to whether or not that condition precedent was part of the contract. If it was, then they didn't. But if it wasn't, then they possibly did. Okay. Now, number two, was their performance excused? And that's where we come down here and talk about these three issues: the impossibility of the task because of city's plans that came into effect, the financial impracticability as a result of the city's plans, and then whether or not the city's plan made the contract frustrated. Now, down here, in any event, builder did not suffer the $700,000 damages discussed. That's what we're talking about down here. Most likely, it would be more along the lines of 200,000, and so, but make sure to throw in the additional discussion of consequential damages, incidental damages, and also we want to throw in just to possibly put this in here, specific performance with a question mark, okay, and then conclusion. Okay, and we want to make sure to have answered in our conclusion 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so that should be good for this question here. All right, I want to put a shout out to Chess Cruncher TV. Keep chess crunching, Chess Cruncher. I also want to put a shout out to my Amazon Kindle book, Battling the Big Bad Baby Bar, Essay Basics. Thank you for tuning in, and God bless.